Hi everyone. Happy Friday. It's almost the weekend. Today is kind of like a catch-up day. So here's just kind of what you should be doing today. You should read 30 minutes and then report it on your reading record and finish analyzing your song from yesterday that you chose. Um, I got quite a few responses on what song that you're analyzing, but I still don't have that from everybody. So make sure you fill that out. And then I've gotten quite a few of you have turned it in already, which is awesome. But I think about maybe half of you haven't, but that's okay because it's not due till today. So make sure you finish analyzing the song of your choice using that four-part reading strategy and then writing your reflection. Also, today you can finish your reading response in Padlet and then finish up any work that you're missing for this class. So make sure you're looking through Google Classroom. What assignments have you not completed? If you've completed everything, then you're good to go. Today we're going to just use a little bit of this time to listen more to house arrest. So I'm just going to pull that up really quick. There's the recording, and then let me just find the. Last time we kind of left off at a pretty intense part where they were rushed to the hospital because they thought that Levi, the brand new baby, was going to die, but he didn't. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Kay Holt in her writing, she uses a lot of anaphora where they repeat kind of the same word or phrase over and over and over again. So here you have it, I just noticed like a lot of ands, the beginning of the sentence. So she writes, and she drove me to the house. Or it's about a boy though, right? So she drove me to the hospital. And she told me, it's about Timothy, sorry. Just remembered his name. And she drove me to the hospital and she told me Levi was sick. And the doctors didn't know what it was. And it was bad, real bad. And they wanted me there in case he died so I could say goodbye. And none of it made sense because Levi was a brand new baby and nothing happens to brand new babies because they are new and they haven't hurt anyone yet. And dad still had pizza in his stomach, and so did I. So I just want you to take a moment to kind of think about why the author chose to write and over and over again at the beginning of each of these sentences. Like, what might have been the purpose of that? Just take a second to think about that. So some people might think it kind of shows how overwhelmed maybe he was feeling at that moment. And there's more and more and more. Or maybe kind of sets a rhythm. And she drove me to the hospital. And she told me Levi was sick. And the doctors didn't know what it was. You know, just kind of that thought process in that moment. All of the things that are happening, you kind of feel that rhythm. Maybe there's something else. I wish we could all talk about it right now and share our thoughts because I love hearing what you guys have to say. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and continue. We left off here where he said, P.S. Levi did not die. Not any time that they told us he would. And there were a lot of times. So it sounds like, with Levi, he's sick, and there's a lot of times that his sicknesses created him, made it so he's almost died. So imagine if that were you and you had a sibling like that or someone in your family like that, it would really take a toll, right? And not only you, but your parents as well. And as we know from a little earlier, he kind of mentions that his dad left. So we'll maybe find out more about that as the story goes on. Just gonna move this over a little bit so we can see everything. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna begin the recording now.
James, Mrs. B, I know you're reading, so listen up. I'm thinking you guys don't know anything about anything. No offense. But if you're going to understand what I'm talking about in this dumb journal, I'm going to need to explain some things to your dumb faces. No offense. There are just so many things you have to understand before you can really understand. Understand? So, I can tell you about that day, that stealing day, but you're never going to know what was going on in my head because I don't know what was going on in my head. All I do know is what was going on in my life. Lesson 1. Trach. You say it like trach, in case you didn't know. It's a plastic tube in Levi's neck. Well, in a hole in Levi's neck. A hole the doctor put there so Levi can breathe. The tube protects the hole, but it lets in a lot of germs like a super highway to his lungs. So that's not good.
So maybe you're wondering what that kind of looks like, or maybe you know, but in case you kind of need a visual, so a trach, it's like a tube that is often surgically placed in someone's windpipe to help them breathe. Um, so it kind of looks, you can see what it looks like right here on like a, this is actually, and we'll talk a little bit more about the author and her purpose for writing it, but this is actually K.A. Holt's son, the author, when he was younger. Oftentimes, if people get a trach, they have to wear it, for the rest of their life. Sometimes not, but sometimes they do. And it sounds like in this case, Levi probably has to wear it permanently. Let me get back to our screen. Sorry. Oh,
But breathing is good. Kind of a lame trade-off if you ask me. I guess the trach is like a plastic nostril in Levi's neck. It has all the gross stuff that nostrils have. Slippery boogers, and slime, and gunk. And when he sneezes, these snot bullets shoot out. So yeah, it's a plastic nostril in your neck. But it doesn't look like a nostril, just a tube. It saved Levi's life and changed everyone else's. Sometimes, I wonder what it's like to breathe through your neck instead of your face. How does food taste if you can't smell it? Do your sinuses still hurt when you're sick? Does it tickle when you cough out of the tube? Does it feel weird when you swallow? It must. Because Levi chokes a lot. When he chokes, we use the suction machine and it is so loud, like a jackhammer drinking a Slurpee. It sucks all of the gunk out of the tube in his neck so Levi can breathe easy again. He always looks so relieved. I wonder how that feels. Jose came over today. He called me a felon and laughed his head off. He wanted me to come with him. Cam's paintball party. My answer? What part of house arrest don't you understand, dummy? I told him I was getting a tracking device on my ankle, and if I left the house, it will blow off my whole leg. Even messier than paintball. He believed me, so I laughed my head off. Week 4. James says I need to talk more about that day. Your journal, he says, in that eye-rolly way they must teach at probation officer university, is to prove you are reflecting on what you did, to prove house arrest is working, to prove you don't need juvie to set you straight. It is court-ordered, Timothy. You know what that means, right? And that's when I shout, I'm doing it, right? I'm writing in it, okay? He nods and looks kind of bored. And I wonder, again, how this ever happened. There are a lot of things I know that I shouldn't know about why things are the way they are. About Dad driving away and never coming back. About his job he never went back to. About Mom working nights for extra money. About food coming from the church on the corner. About Levi's medicine costing as much as a pet space shuttle? I know. But I don't say I know. But Mom knows I know. Because she knows everything. Except whether or not Dad is ever coming back. No one knows that. Well, maybe Dad does. A year is a long time to write in the journal and never go to paintball parties. That is not a haiku. Jose came over. It was a quick visit. His mom made a casserole for him to bring, which he thought was embarrassing. So did I. Oh, we don't need a casserole, Mom said it in her fake smile voice. But I put it in the fridge for later. It smelled so good. Way better smelling than Jose, who punched me in the shoulder and called me smooth criminal, even though I'm not smooth at all. At all. That day, always in my head, won't go away. Always in the mirror, written on my face. That day, when the guy's wallet was next to the credit card swiper thing at the checkout. And the manager and the guy looked out the window at the car crash outside of the grocery store. My breath came fast. My vision did this weird pinpoint thing. My brain went white. So, I leaned over, grabbed the wallet, kept walking. The sun was bright. The day was cold. The wallet was heavier than I thought it would be. I paid $1,445.32 on one shiny blue card. Levi's medicine for 1 month. I made it 1.5 days before they caught me. 1.5 days of feeling like I could breathe. 1.5 days of trying to figure out how to tell Mom. Then the police came. They took me away. But even worse, they took the medicine away too. Man, I was really stupid then.
One thing to think about as we're reading this book is just kind of what is it that makes people act the way they do? Sometimes people aren't just necessarily bad people, right? There's a lot of reasons. Here, Timothy just wanted to get medicine for his brother to save his life, maybe. And then he stole. But there was definitely like a goodness behind, even though that wasn't the right thing to do. But it's always just think a little bit about Timothy's motives as we kind of go through this.
White hair on his head, coming out of his ears, creeping from his nose. Bobby. His red name tag shouts it, as if your eyes are deaf. When Bobby took that credit card, he knew it wasn't right, and the white hair in his nose sucked in and out like seaweed in the tide. My uncle's card. The sweat rolled down my face, getting in my eyes. Quite the generous uncle. That's what Bobby said when he swiped the card. Handed over the medicine, never taking his eyes off me, even when the pharmacy door dinged and I turned around, looking back through the glass. Bobby watched me go, his mouth a tight line, his hand in his white hair, searching for answers.
All right, we're going to stop there today. Hope you enjoyed it. Good luck with everything. Please reach out if you have any questions. Have a great weekend. Bye.